Sure.
What do you mean by men and women, and why is it just?
Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. The second part of your question, I'm sorry. What did you say?
Why is it the topic that?
Oh
you
yeah,
care
well,
about?
it sparks conversation for sure. And I think it's also just rather fundamental to be able to, organize a society if we can't agree what men and women are, right? So, but yeah, I believe gender and sex are the same thing, and biological reality shouldn't be ignored.
So why? I mean, that's not quite my question. Like, because I understand that.
Okay,
as
sure,
your
yeah.
argument. But what compels you to sit on a college campus and talk about it? Like, why is it a topic you're passionate about?
Well, it amazingly meets disagreement, and I'm curious as to how on earth someone could disagree with this. So I think that's worth kind of exploring and kind of talking about. And I also think it's kind of insane to believe that men can become women and women can become men.
I see. Like, I understand that that's your stance, and
Yes.
I agree with it. And I don't think that there's. I don't think.
So
that
you're
either
asking
of
like
us
what
are gonna-
drives me to come here and
Yeah.
talk about it?
Because I don't think I'm going to change your mind, and I don't think you're going to change mine. So
Yeah, no, and but part of it is like, if we're not, maybe you'll make a point I won't think of, probably not, but maybe you will, right? Because I do this a lot. Maybe I'll make a point you'll think of. But also, like, I'm a big believer that public and open and sometimes provocative speech is fundamental to a free society, right? It pushes boundaries, it gets people out of their comfort zone, it makes you live in a less totalitarian moment, at least in that instant, right? So I just think it's really healthy. I think it makes you more human, right?
Yeah.
And maybe you're like, oh, like, that's really stupid, you just keep walking. Like, fine,
Yeah.
whatever, I don't care.
Well, I guess,
Right?
okay, so because I feel like there's not a lot that I could say that you haven't heard even if it's
Yeah,
clear,
I mean,
which is why
sure.
my main thinking on the topic is that for a lot of people, for trans people, I don't know if you're, for a lot of trans people, like, it's a matter of life and death to express themselves the way they want to and embrace the identity they want to, and to use the pronouns that they care about. And what is it to you to not respect it?
Yeah,
Like,
so
why do you?
there's two separate issues. We could go on endlessly, and it probably wouldn't get anywhere where I would be like my own personal opinions on that.
Right.
But the more important question is, how does society react to it, right? That's the more important question. So I'm not going to convince trans people they're not what they say they are. Like, that's a waste of time. The question is, should we change bathrooms, like college sports? That's the more important question, right? Should we teach this stuff in schools? And I would say, I mean, the moral question from my perspective is that I believe people, first and foremost, born as biological men, right, should not be allowed to exploit or damage or harm people that do not have the same testosterone, bone density, or muscle mass. Let's just take like athletics, right? So NCAA women's swimmer champion Thomas was a man, transitioned to a woman, wins the NCAA championship, right? So that's a moral question where I say, okay, you can think whatever you want, but you should have to compete in your own your chromosome should dictate what athletic competition you're in, right? So you say it's a matter of life and death. I think doing therapy, whatever, but your therapy shouldn't be disenfranchising other female athletes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but that's specific to athletics.
That's just one example of a ton, right?
Like that.